Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. It's a lovely day. It's a lovely day. Yeah. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunrise. We've been getting all this beautiful weather, even though the little greyhound they worship said 6 more weeks of winter. I have yet to see the 6 weeks of winter. And as I had said before, excuse me, as I had said before, changes are coming into the earth, and the change I want to see is heat, because I love the beauty of nature when it's in its hot stages. Everything is so full of life. Everything is so full of life. It's just ain't nothing like being able to be close to nature. And hopefully we can have less bugs, definitely less bugs. These bugs are they're needed, many of them, but hopefully the ones that like to be invasive will be suppressed and oppressed and depressed not to exist in the coming seasons. But the ones that we benefit from can flourish. So, with that said, let's get into the conversation at hand. First off, I wanted to state that peace comes from within. True, real peace does not come from anything outside of you or outside of me. It comes from within us. We have to always take the world that's within us that we love to be reveling in from within us and pull it outside of us so that we can surround ourselves with nothing but greatness and pure love and safety because it's all within you. You're not going to find it necessarily outside of the individual because each one of us as individuals come equipped with our own world, our own world. So if you are seeking peace, that comes from within you. If you are seeking love, that comes from within you. And the type of love you seek and the type of peace you seek, you are responsible for that outside of you because you're the one that carries your world. And the world that you choose or decide to have should be that reflecting what you want, what you've always wanted, which is a peaceful world. You can't have a peaceful world if you have any, if you allow any weaknesses, I'm going to call it, into your world, into your domain. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. 100% true. If you hold beauty, then chances are you're going to reflect that you see everything you see is beauty. It goes back to, are you going to dwell in the negative, or are you going to accentuate the positive and try to eliminate that which is negative? Are you going to fly high above the plane, or are you going to dwell within the plane? Are you going to allow yourself to be that surface thinker, or are you going to be above that? Like kind of like a Superman or a Superwoman, being able to see through the clothing with your X-ray vision and gain a higher understanding of this life that we're in. I was watching a video earlier and I made some comments because we're under this notion that somehow hate is a learned thing. And we never stop to think, well, perhaps hate can be a natural thing. Hate can be someone's nature. You don't have to be necessarily taught. You can be born into hate. It may not have developed because you haven't had much exposure to that which is not of your world. When you have exposure to that which is not of your world, that is the opposite of what you are or who you are, and how you interpret that, how you deal with that. Does it harm? Do you feel like it harms your natural ways of survival in some form? This is this is when you can know whether something's in nature or not. This is how you're going to know when something is in nature or not. Is asking the question and looking at the situation. Does it not necessarily call it hate? Will I necessarily call it hate? That's a question, you know, that if you're thinking in the higher realms, you would ask, will we call this hate, or will we call it someone's survival, or someone's feeling like something's a threat for them, or naturally to their natural way of being? Is it a threat to someone's natural way of being? That's a question. What is the threat to someone's natural way of being? You know, that's the question. Because when we look at it, hate of the so-called quote unquote black woman is not nothing new. It's not nothing it's not nothing that you wouldn't expect. I've been talking in other a higher way of understanding, a higher way of talking about the issue, not on this level. They got us wanting to stay in a level of sex development, sex and birthing, and this is the lower range of us. I wanted to. I wish I could find that movie, that miniseries they used to have out, where the higher self was something else and the lower self was a mother, a family woman, and all. Well, not she wasn't the only one in the show that was had a family. The men had families. Everybody had families, but they were something else on another realm, and they totally forgot. And then sometimes they would want to stay in that realm where they were the family people and not the realm where they were the warriors. So I wish I could find that miniseries, but I couldn't find it. But just know that they were in two different realms, and sometimes they were the family people. They had, the woman had the children and the husband, but she also had the secret life that she left and was ended up in a different realm, was between two different worlds, and of course she had to let go of that because that they said that was not real. Her being the wife and mother, but she wanted it so badly. They ended up having to go get her and pull her out of that realm. Uh, it wasn't real, unfortunately. Um, so the point of that is you got your higher state of being and you got your lower state of being. I talked in my last video about, uh, the experience and one having the experience of being a mother when in my past something directed me not to become a mother, not to become have children, but I was so engulfed in the ways of this world that I wanted to have a daughter. So I had a daughter, my first daughter, my oldest daughter, and then went into having my second daughter and trying to have a family, trying to have a life and provide for them all of the things that I didn't have provided for me, but at a level to where it would catapult them to to move themselves to a better place. You know what I'm saying? Still, they still have to put forth the work. It's not like some decided to choose to be a Hollywood star. It's not like I decided to do that and give them everything and leave them a big legacy. I actually chose to still go for what I want out of life, but be a mother to two girls and show them the way, show them the light path. And they're very talented girls, very talented. And but the cats will be able to be that foundation for them so they can catapult themselves upward. And that's my hope that they would do for themselves. All I can do at that stage is just be the parent and do my part. I can't be the controlling parent because you want to give your kids a range of the world. You want them to be able to decide what they want, what they're supposed to be, because they're not put here for me to control and groom in the way that I feel my selfish ways may want them to go. We are to equip them and help them to achieve whatever dreams they may have in the right path, of course, with using the nugget, using the mind, using the brain. So that's how I feel about the whole situation of, you know, what you want to do is your path. You've got to decide your own path, you know. All I can do is make sure I lay down a foundation. But I feel like the world that I brought them into is not conducive. I haven't made it efficient enough for them. But reminding myself that the world, they have to develop their world within them. The peace is going to come from within them. They determine their own world, how they want to, who they want to have amongst them. And hopefully, you know, they'll have good people amongst them, because we know how the world is out here. We know that we don't want to talk about fear ever, but we know that it's a big place full of a whole galaxy of worlds, right? So, is it really the surface colored, coated chocolate woman that is hated, or is it something deeper going on in the earth that has been going on for centuries upon centuries upon centuries, but have been always reinvented to seem like it's something else? This is what I would say is the possibility of the issue at hand. Because I see things from a higher perspective versus this low surface dwelling place. I've known for a long, long time the energy to be cannot stand high energy, high altitudes of light, high your beams and rays of light. They cannot stand it. So if you hold a high power range of light, of sun rays, then it's a possibility that you are going to be hated because of the energy. It's all about energy, the combating forces of these two energies. Now, if you see other things not have to endure these things because they don't exist in reality. The reality is what we label the black woman is hated because it's a dominant force in the earth. It's a strong energy that gives beauty and life to the planet. In the coming days, we see beautiful weather. We see the earth changing. We see that this has been going on, like I said, centuries upon centuries. There's nothing new about hating black women. Nothing new at all. Yes, Emmanuel Briggs, welcome. I love black women as well, my brother. quote unquote black women, quote unquote. I would rather say the mother of the universe. She is hated because she is back. She is hated because she is back. And she's been back for a while now. And the energies I talked about many, many times, like the last 9 years, I've been talking about the great mama coming back, and but she's here. She's been here for a while, and this is to be these things are to be expected in the earth. If we don't know history and we haven't seen what has been going on for a long time, then we're going to be thinking on the level of penises and vagina. We're going to be thinking on the levels of less, the programming that we've been giving of getting married and having children. We're going to think on that level, but are we here for that level? You have to think. You have to think. Are we just here for that level? We've always been here for the grand scheme of things. But we have lowered into a lower way of being that we've gotten used to, and we've gotten programmed to think that we're 13% of the population. And that somehow we were tricked into wanting to be close to our opposition, those that are opposite of who we are, and sharing our blood and sharing our souls and splitting ourselves into becoming what they are instead of working on ourselves to rise above that level of world we've had enforced upon us. I mean, see how it's working for you? Nothing but pure evil has been built from it. Many say that just give the eggplant to those who hate the women that hate you and she'll straighten right up. That's what they think. Many think. But that's far from any truth within that. You don't change someone by, you don't stop someone from hating you by loving them. That would never work because that's not nature. Nature says that which hates you, or not necessarily, we're going to use the word hate because do we know for sure if that cougar hated that um, um, ram when it attacked it and ate it? Did he hate it? No, it did not hate. It wasn't hate from the perspective of the cougar. Now, it was probably hate from the perspective of the ram, but the cougar had to survive. It was love for him. He had to get that meat and eat it because he needed to survive off the blood and the meat of that ram, the animal. So, from the ram's perspective, yeah, you took it away from its family. That was hate for him. That was hurt there was pain, there was agony because you ate him. You attacked him and you ate him for your selfish needs. So, yes, he's going to see it like that. But you are to stay away from those things that want to harm you, where we were put into the pits of fire of that thing that wanted to destroy us and not to exist. So, in our experiences, we're in this pit of fire amongst that which we keep hearing people say division is the problem, division is the problem. Division is the problem, division is the problem. Division is not the problem. You don't have division within the dynamics. We don't have independence for quote unquote so called Black people. We don't have freedom for the quote unquote Black people. But you do have freedom and you have a whole economy, you have all these things for the white people, but you don't have for the Black people, for the so called Black people. And it causes issues for the Black people, quote unquote Black people. Issues that the white people cannot see because they're just surviving, they just live. And they can't see what's going on with someone else. And they don't understand it. And some really don't care because of they want their dominance. They want their dominance in life. So they really, that's beneath them what we deal with. So this is why white becomes supreme to our people, because it puts itself on a pedestal. It has put itself on a pedestal, and our people can't see no bad within it. Most people can't see no bad within white supremacy. But white supremacy is clear and obvious to see the bad, nothing but bad, because like I said in my little paragraph, we have received nothing but hate and death in our communities across this earth. Hate and death. And they try to move in and make like they are trying to do something good, but all the while keep on this perpetuated circle, 360 degrees of the same thing over and over again. Destroy, rebuild, destroy, rebuild, destroy, rebuild, up to a certain point, over and over and over again. Only to a certain point. So when you can see from a helicopter perspective or a plane perspective, you see it all and you see why things are. The thing about men, they don't think correctly. And I'm going to say in general. In general, men don't, you know, of course, from a woman's perspective, that's going to be the way I see their thinking. Now, they, if you reject a certain part of thinking, it's kind of hard because sometimes men reject a certain perspective, a certain way of thinking. And if you, I want to say, if you reject one part way of thinking, then you reject the whole idea of thinking. And that's from a higher perspective. We have to think. Even and I appreciate a friend of mine who thinks, who tries to have me see things in different ways. But the way he be having me see things is so minute to the situation. He be trying to stick it in there, and it just does not make sense to me. And I'm like, you know, he wants to get me to see things different ways, and I'm like, I can't. I mean, it's just like it's not constructive to me. It's not constructive. It's kind of a waste of energy in a way. But if we could see it or look at it in the light to which it pertains to it, then we do much, much better, I think. I think. Because we can dive into that and deeper rather than give me all these other uh, things that are possibilities, but to me, those possibilities are far from. It's far from the whole thing we're dealing with at hand now. You know, so it's like he's putting things in the way, putting things in the way, blocking basically, and that gets frustrating. That gets really frustrating. So, but I think sometimes that's just a way of trying to gain or see things or thinking that, but it's still on a level and it's a waste of energy level versus seeing it, examining the situation at hand and not coming up with paranoid, bizarre ideas. You know what I'm saying? And just making stuff up. It's kind of like that for me. But they come up with cover pages all the time. New cover pages to cover up what the real deal is in the real world. Not the matrix, but the real world. And in the real world, it's the same old thing that's been going on for centuries to destroy a certain energy that is that they cannot dwell in. It wants to destroy a certain energy that it cannot live in. It wants to shut it down. But that energy is very critical that it knows who it is, what it is, and why it exists so that it can rise above all of the hate, discontent, agony that this thing is going to go through on the planet, and how it's trying to keep you within the dick and the vagina and not allow you to rise above that level. We got to rise up out of the dick and the vagina level. We got to want more out of life's experience than a good man and a good woman. You get a good man and get a good woman, what are you going to do? What you going to do? It's something that is stopping your progression. It will stop your progression towards greatness. So please do not allow it to stop you and keep you stuck every same thing, 360-degree circle over and over again. I said it once, I said it twice, I said it three times, I said it a fourth. Get off of the circle and rise above. Get off the Ferris wheel and rise above. Find your horizon, find your peace, find your beauty, and head towards it. Head towards the light that holds the dark that you always searched for. With that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within the soul. Till next time. Thank you, Emmanuel Briggs, for being here. Peace and keep loving yourself and search for that place and keep moving towards it. Peace.